Hello, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Saul Blaze. And this morning, I want to make a comment on something, let me say an experience I had yesterday. You know, first of all, let me say, as a person, I've been in church all my life. Even when I went into secular music, I was still playing in the church. While I was in school, I was playing in a church. And for one day, I've never asked to be paid because I believe that I should have a church where I am committed, even as a musician. Then, if I have invitations outside, they have to do the not necessary payment for logistics and all that. But for my own church, as in church where I worship, I believe in rendering my service. It's a service unto God I'm doing. But I am beginning to find it disgusting and nauseating for pastors to want to demonize musicians who asked to be paid. They tell you it's God's work, you know. You shouldn't be collecting money in their church. Like I said, personally, I have a conviction of playing uh, in the church where I belong, like my church. When I mean my church, the church where I worship, where I feed from. That's my conviction, that's my belief. But there are some other persons who used the last money on them to learn the skills. And they learned these skills so that they can be able to put food on their table. I know a certain drummer who has a child with no other source of income for the now. And you tell such a drummer that he is working for God, so he needs not to be paid. Excuse me, Pastor. The job you're doing, the preaching and the messages you preach, is it not the work of God also? But you, at the end of the month, you collect salary. You pay yourself. So what is the difference between you and a musician who is an enabler of your ministry? I think the pastors, some pastors, by the way, are becoming so selfish, so self-centered. They don't want to understand that men or guys are alike use those things as a source of income. It's not that they provide jobs for them. It's not that they give them opportunities or link them up with opportunities, as the case may be. But you want these people to keep playing for you free. So what do you want? How do you want them to survive? What do you want them to do? How would they feed their families? How would they, you know, sponsor their educations? How would they, sponsor their dreams? You want them to steal, or you want them to go into fraud or something? Please, Pastor, the same work of God you say they are doing is the same work of God you are doing. But you pay yourself. You collect money at the end of the month. It's becoming worrisome. And like I said, personally, I believe that because of God has blessed me in a way, so I can actually afford to survive without being paid. That doesn't make me holier than those ones who demand to be paid. Let's stop all this demonizing of musicians, gospel musicians, especially those ones that have given their mind to serve. Please, this our acts or our actions is driving them away from the church. Pay your musicians that wants to be paid. Some of them learned those skills so that they can be able to put food on their table. Stop telling them it's God's work. Aren't you doing God's work? But you collect money. From there you train your children. But you're still doing God's work. Please. Please. in as much as I will also encourage them to 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 render services unto God as the Lord will help them. I will encourage them to do that. But stop demonizing them. Encourage them, get them jobs, good jobs, better jobs, so that um they can also maybe play for you freely if that's what you want. All right. I'm not attacking anybody right now. It's not an attack on any pastor, but it's something that has to be said because sometimes we consider the pastors sacred, and we don't want to tell them just things to their faces, and it's becoming a problem to the church. It's becoming a problem to the body of Christ. All right. Thank you, everyone, and I believe this will go a long way to make life better for every musician out there that desires to be paid. But if God opens doors for you and you can do without the payment, it's still okay. Right? God bless you. I've met your friend and brother Saul Blaze. Peace out.